What is an obstacle that you've overcome? That you have overcome?
I took 2 years of Spanish and I still love it.
Okay. And what advice would you give to someone who's going through something similar?
Study. Study really hard. I don't know.
What is an obstacle that you overcame and how did you do it?
Well, throughout my freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, I pulled my hamstring like 5 or 6 times.
What advice would you give to someone going through something similar?
I would probably say take the necessary time to heal. I didn't, and that's why I ended up pulling it so many times. And also, keep working at it. People told me I wouldn't be able to really run again, and
What was an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
An obstacle that I went through would be getting a D in my AP Lit class for senior year, first semester. And what I did to fix that was I had to drop one of my classes to retake that class that I got a D on. And currently now I have a C, so I'm doing better now.
Wh- What advice would you give to someone who's going through the same?
My advice would be that to ask for help when you need it, because that was my problem. I never asked for help when I needed a class, and that's how I ended up with a D, because it was too late to do anything to fix my grade. So my advice would be to ask for help since the beginning. If you don't understand the subject, just ask for help. That's what helped me.
Okay. What is an obstacle that you've gone through and how did you overcome it?
I had to do a speech for organization club, and I got it by preparing for it and making sure that I'm practicing to make sure that I knew what to say.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
At a young age, I went through a problem. I went through bullying.
What advice would you give to someone going through something similar?
Well, I would recommend that you either tell an adult, or if you're just like one of those independent people, you just ignore them. You just ignore those people. And if you're your friends as well, just disconnect them from your life because you don't need that negative.
Question is, what is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
Having debates, and how I overcame it is I had to present, but I was nervous, but I knew I had to finish it, so I had to overcome it. And to the people that need help on it, just don't be nervous, because I was still nervous and it messed me up. So just try not to be nervous.
What is an obstacle that you've been through and how did you overcome it?
My best friend kind of what do you say, talked behind my back, and I just got over it because I don't like to keep bad things inside me. I'm just okay, whatever, just walk away. Didn't talk to her anymore. That's it.
What advice would you give to someone who's going through a similar thing?
If they did that to you, then they're not real friends. So just get over it, and you'll find someone else soon.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
Shyness. When I promoted from 8th grade to high school, I was very shy, quiet, I didn't talk to anyone, and then I got here to high school and I joined clubs and just overcame that and just became more social. I talked to more people, I go to events and just very general social.
What advice would you give to someone who's going through a similar obstacle?
Don't be afraid of being who you are. And just have fun.
Obstacle that you've overcame and how did you do it?
An obstacle that I overcame would have to be staying on task or staying focused on the big picture. There's a lot of distractions in life, whether it's school, sports, girlfriend or boyfriend, family problems, or you're just lazy. I would say staying focused is the biggest obstacle you can do or can have.
And what advice would you give to someone going through that?
That's a good question. I would recommend them to find some alone time. when you're being distracted by everything, you have too much things to do, or you're just like not focusing on the big picture, you tend to lose sight of things. It causes a lot of stress, and alone time can be like that time where you just think about things. No distractions at all.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
So it was 2 years ago. I was like in my house. I was just not happy in it at all, and it was a lot to do with like my stepfamily. And that was the obstacle, was just kind of like going on, living through the days, like not being happy at all. And I had to overcome it. I knew that I had to move out, and so I just went through like all the emotional pain, everything, to move in with another family member full time. And any advice, like if anyone's going through that, if you are not happy in the house that you're in right now, find a way out. Because trust me, you will feel happy.
What is an obstacle that you've overcame and how did you do it?
An obstacle I overcame recently is by completing the class of AP Bio.
What advice would you give to someone going through a similar situation?
So for people who might be going to that class next year, I strongly advise that you should study and such, and you should really like go back to memorizing, go back to like review it over and over again, because you will forget that stuff over time. And I think it's good that you review it, that way you'll get a good scope and a good idea of like what's going to be on the test next year, because honestly you don't know what's on the test, and reviewing over and over again is going to be good for you, and it's better for you because you'll be more knowledgeable on such.
Obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
An obstacle I went through was moving to a new school, because I thought I wouldn't have any friends because I'm super awkward and annoying. But you know, you join clubs and you meet friends like Brianna Sanchez. Shout out to Brianna Sanchez! And you know, you just have a good time, and it's pretty cool.
So, what advice would you give to someone going through a similar thing?
Don't worry, you'll make friends because there's so many people in the world, and someone's bound to love you. Don't worry, someone's gonna love you.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
My obstacle is not being raised by my mom and dad. I was raised by my grandma and my four aunts, and it didn't really seem like much at first, but it was kind of hard on me as I grew up, and I realized that, you know, I wasn't raised by my mom and dad, and it was kind of weird not to have them there, especially through elementary school, like having Mother's Day and Father's Day and things like that, and not being able to go home and be like, oh, happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day. But I overcame it. I accepted that, you know, I wasn't gonna have them, but I did have a wonderful family with my grandma and my aunts who raised me. For anyone who's overcoming something harsh in life, you just have to push through it. Eventually things will get better. Sometimes it takes longer than you want it to, but if you try, things will come fast to you and they will be better.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
Well, I think like most teenagers, how I had problems with my parents about how like I felt like they weren't on my side, or they weren't like supporting me, or how I thought I just didn't like them, and that messed with me for a while, because like they're your parents and how I got through that, I moved out. Honestly, I moved out, and then I became my own person, and then I don't know, I just stayed myself, and then I didn't let like their negativity get in the way. I know some parents like they're really hard on you because like they want the best for you, but I think sometimes you gotta recognize when they're being like unhealthy and very toxic to you. And during those times, you can't forget that you're a good person. Hopefully you're a good person. But you can't forget that that you're a good person, and you shouldn't let like the negativity of others, not even your parents, get in the way of you.
Alright. What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
An obstacle that I've been through is a hurdle, and I've overcame it by joining track and trying and jumping and falling on my face. But you know, when you fall, you always have to get up.
What is an obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
One of the biggest obstacles that I went through was when I first came here to the United States when I was like 4 years old, and I started kindergarten and I didn't know any English, so I had to kind of teach myself English, and throughout the years I perfected it, and I just had to stay focused and put my mind to it.
Obstacle that you went through and how did you overcome it?
An obstacle that I've overcome is loss, and I overcame it by dedicating my time into working out and eating healthy, but just not for the image, but for myself, because I want to have confidence in myself.
What advice would you give to someone going through something similar?
I would tell someone that is going through the same thing to not do it for other people, but do it for yourself, because it's your body, and it shouldn't matter what other people think about you. It should matter about what you think about yourself, because you're the one in that body, and this is no one else's life. You're the one that is going through this struggle, so just make yourself happy.
What is an obstacle that you went through, and how did you overcome it?
So this was recently, earlier this year. I signed up for a summer program to go to Princeton. I applied to it and I made it to the second round, but however, when I received the news a few months later, I got an email saying that I didn't make it, and it really devastated me because I was working my whole junior year to see if I can make through it, because it is an all paid for program provided by Princeton, and I really wanted to go because it was something that would help me in my major. And I think because I didn't get in, I think it showed me that in life you will get rejected in a lot of things, and you have to overcome them, because if you just get stuck in one of the rejections you get, you will not get far in life. So I think it really did show me that I have to try harder and be more ambitious, and if not, I have to be more humble and also learn how to overcome any rejection, which helped me drive so I can be more competitive, so that when I become a senior in a few months, I will be more competitive and ready so that I can be able to apply for NYU.